everybody, and welcome to a new kind of style of a video. So Tarkir is not on Arena yet, but there is a sealed GP next weekend, the Spotlight Series in Denver for Tarkir Dragonstorm. I know I am very excited to play some Limited, and I have some fellow Limited Pro Tour friends that are also very excited to play Limited next weekend. And so today I have pros building sealed pools. Me, Jason Yee, Greg Michael, Sean Goddard, and Nate Perigo all joined together and built two sealed pools. They all ended up a little bit longer than anticipated, so I'm going to bring them throughout 2 days. Today, the five of us will build the sealed pool and talk about it, and then tomorrow we've got another fun sealed pool and we'll go ahead and build that one. So I think this is a special treat. It's really cool to see how different people build, how different people approach things. A lot of the decks look, very different. A lot of them look the same. And so it's very interesting and I think tons of fun and a great learning experience if you are planning on playing sealed in Denver next weekend. And so with, nothing left, let's go ahead and hop into my pool. Right, so the first thing I do when I build a pool is I try to find the strong cards I'd kind of be excited to play, and I look at all my fixing. So went ahead and sorted by rarity. I'm also going to go ahead and just put all of the lands into my deck, just so that I can look at them. From there, I am going to... Okay, so this Dragonback Assault card is pretty awesome. It says when it enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature, so it's kind of like a way to stabilize the board. And then it has landfall. Whenever a land enters, you make a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. From my experience so far, the games in this set go pretty long, at least in sealed. And so this seems like it's going to be a super strong card. Parination, this card's also pretty cool, but it does need a little bit of help. It returns a permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof and an indestructible counter on it. So, once it's out, it's pretty good. Frostcliff Siege, this card's pretty good. Hollowmurk Siege and Scavenger Regent, this card is great. It's a 4/4 flying dragon with ward, discard a card, and then each non-dragon creature gets -X until end of turn. So another one of those like stabilization tools. Songcrafter Mage is super cool. And I'm going to put Narset in here, but I'm going to be real with you. I don't love Narset, and it's maybe a fault of mine. I might need to just play it a little bit more. I am turned off of Zurgo. I think none of these mobilized decks are very good. The way the format is playing out, the format tends to play out pretty long, and anytime someone drops, a big dragon that gains life, I feel like it kind of stops these decks in its track. And so I am just decently uninterested in playing this Zurgo. I'm going to go ahead and look at the rest of our multicolor cards, just put in some things I would definitely consider playing. And, we got some good multicolor cards. Bonecarn Butcher is in the same camp as Zurgo. It's not that I'm opposed to play Rainveil Rejuvenator, but I don't love it. Overwhelming Surge is removal. I'm also going to go ahead and put all my removal into the pool. That way I can go ahead and sort by color now. That way I can see what my removal options are as I go to build my pool. So I'm kind of putting in everything that I think I might value in the pool. And then from there, I can go in and see, kind of what our color options are and make cuts and kind of build our deck from there. And so I don't have a lot of red cards, generally. Spells. Piercing Exhales, a removal spell. With that, we have all the removal spells. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and that's not what I wanted to sort by mana value. And this is 25 cards. So let's look at our fixing. So Frontier Bivouac, I don't know how to say that. And these two Thornwood Falls, tap for green and blue. And then we've got 2 lands that tap for white, and then this one is for black-red. So if I'm looking at my pool of, all the things that I kind of discussed being excited to play, the first thing I notice is that I don't have a lot of white cards here. There's a couple of good removal spells. We have Osseous Exhale, which is just a fine removal spell. The Oblivion Ring of the set, and then Static Snare. And we also have this Parination, but our mana is not particularly good. Let's see. Do we have any green cards that help us fix? Like a lot of the time, there's like the dragon that can search a basic for 1 mana, or there's encroaching Dragonstorm, which searches 2 basics, but we don't really have any of the things that search basics. So as much as I love playing 5-color soup decks in just about every pile I pick up, it looks like Dragonbrood's Relic and our lands are the only sources of fixing we're really going to have. And so I think my first instinct is to cut white. I'm going to go ahead and move the white cards over here for now, just so that, they're still somewhere within reach. Um, Narset. So our most powerful cards are in Teamer. Our fixing in Teamer is not particularly good, which is a little bit concerning. I'm trying to think, maybe our deck can be based like 2 colors, and then we can splash, one of like the Teamer colors, and then maybe black, or maybe we could splash green, because green is kind of on all of our lands. We don't really have a lot of things in green that are helping us cast our spells, which is one of the things that leads me to have a tendency towards green. So if I'm looking, it appears that we've got a couple cards I'm decently excited to play in blue. I love Sibsic Appraiser, and I think Dispelling Exhale is pretty good in this set because there's a lot of like really expensive creatures people want to cast, and I think you find good times to use this spell, especially when you can get it to cost make them pay 4 for it. And then I also don't hate Ice Ridge Serpent. The rest of the cards are not particularly exciting to me. I don't really care about Alicia's Legacy. Corroding Dragonstorm, not anything that's particularly exciting. I do like Nightblade Brigade. Just having the Death Touch creature and the Surveil is kind of nice. That card's unexciting. Yathian Tomb Guard, this card's interesting. Mobilize 1, drain 1 whenever your opponent plays something. And then we got a dragon. Nothing particularly exciting. We have these Gurmag Night Watches, but I don't love this card. It would be too good, I think, if you put the card in your hand, but given that it just leaves the card on top, it's also something that's not particularly exciting for me to be playing, and I don't see anything that would make this more white. So, see, we have 2 free red sources. I don't love this debilitating current card. From here, I kind of think I want to try to, like, play all these cards. I don't know how good Worthy Cost is in the deck, actually. The unfortunate part about Worthy Cost is it does require you to sacrifice a creature, and it doesn't look like we get a lot of free creatures here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take those out of my deck. We're not so low on removal that those are super necessary. We have the Overwhelming Surge, Narset's Rebuke, the Scavenger Regent, Lion Weight, which is a great removal spell, Piercing Exhale, and the Molten Exhale, and the Fresh Start. And so I don't think we need the Worthy Costs as part of our removal. Let's see if we go back to looking at our curve here now. So, all right. Now that we're here, we don't really have any 2-drop creatures. I do think that's okay in this set, but I kind of want to make sure by like turn 3 we have things to do. I'm going to go ahead and put our lands over here on top of this plan now, just so that I can add some cards to our deck. So I do like this Champion of Doosan card. I think the trample has and the counter both have turned to be pretty relevant, but it is also a pretty good like blocker slash attacker in the like middle of the game. And I do like a number of our blue cards. So I'm gonna add a couple of the blue cards that I was like decently excited about, and then I am also going to add just like some playable green cards. I do think this Deceit Earth Fervor is pretty good. A 7/7 with reach, I think, is something that like frequently needs to be answered. And so, if we do this, it's 26 cards. Let's sort by color identity. And so the cards that have black on them. The unfortunate part is that we do kind of want to have the ability to cast double black spells because of our Scavenger Regent. And we don't have a whole lot of ways to fix for it, but it is just good as a 4/4 dragon, so I think we're probably okay to play it either way. I do like Host of Hereafter, but there's not a lot in this deck other than the Hollowmark Siege that I think super relevant because of this card. I think I'd rather not play it and possibly have a little bit of better mana. I have a feeling I'm going to feel that way about this Keru Goldkeeper as well, but I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Frostcliff, enters, choose Jeskai or Teamer. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's pretty good with these Champion of Dusons, but they're not particularly easy to cast both of them. Creatures you can +1/+0 and have trample and haste. That doesn't seem so exciting, but I think the cost of playing this additional blue-red card when we're already splashing, a number of red cards, I think is okay. Take this Goldkeeper out for now. In terms of black cards, like these are the three that feel really strong to me, and so I think we can maybe cheat our mana to play these cards. I think Lion Weight's really strong, and Hollowmark Siege is kind of just a bomb. This is 24 cards. Let's go back and look at our mana value again. Okay, so we still don't have a whole lot of things early. I guess we do have a good amount of removal spells. I don't know how easy Glacial Dragon Hunt, like Hollowmark Siege is something that's not going to be cast on turn 2 very often. Like these things might as well go here and like we cast them later zone. Maybe our Host of Hereafter is good with these Rain Veil Rejuvenators. Oh, I'll put that back in. We'll just see how good it is. I do like Defibrillating Current, but in this deck, I think it's too often going to be a 4 or 5 mana spell, and that just seems like a little bit too much of a cost. Heritage Reclamation and like Sarkhan's Resolve are things I consider sideboarding, but they're not things I'm particularly exciting to main board. And we could consider playing these Agent of Codices. Snowmelt Stag is kind of interesting with the Frostcliff Siege. I'm uninterested. I don't love this card. Okay, so this puts us at 27 cards. I'm going to look at how good our mana is, and then from there we can kind of decide. Okay, so these all tap for green. It looks like I probably, in an ideal world, want to have 8 green sources. So I'm going to go ahead and add some lands and kind of put them over here, and then we can decide once we figure out how many of each source we want, what we want to do. And it looks like I, in an ideal world, probably want like, if we cut these, I think we can get away with 7 blue sources. So let's add some islands. Move them over here. And then this is 2 red sources and 1 black source. So we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 red. I think like the absolute lowest I want to be is like 5 sources to play the amount of red that I'm playing. And then black, we have 1 free source. There's 1, 2, 4 black cards in our deck. I think maybe this Host of Hereafter is cheating a little too much. And I do wish we had slightly more fixing for the sorcery side of the scavenger region, but I think I'm going to put 4 black sources in for now, and then we'll count how many lands we have and kind of how much we're cheating. So this is 8 plus 6 is 14. This is 19 lands. That's a lot of lands, isn't it? So my first question is like I can probably cheat it down to 7 green. It's not ideal, but 7 is like I think kind of the least you want to have. I really do want to keep 8 green. And so I think I'm going to leave 8 green. I think we can cheat a red. Most of our red cards are things we don't need to play early. Maybe instead of like this Frostcliff Siege. This card's always good late. Artifact creature. I like this card because I feel like it frequently destroys a creature and kills a monument, which seems pretty useful. This is 15, 18 lands. I don't really know where I want to cheat from here. We definitely have to cheat the mana base at least a little bit. It's probably going down to 3 black. And then, I think we're just treating our scavenger region as a 4/4 flyer. that sometimes we'll get to do the additional effect with like Dragon Brood's Relic. I guess we really have no other way to get black. I feel like if we don't play our black cards here, our pool looks a little weak. Like a lot of our really good cards are in black. I think I want to try to squeeze. I wonder, maybe we can just play 6 blue. Auroral Possession is something that we're okay playing with late. Lion Wait's okay being late. Songcrafter Mage is definitely something you typically want to play late. If we cut down a blue, it goes down to 7 blue. It's really just got to be black. And then we're only casting the double black ever if we have like Dragon Brood Relic. Um, Maybe we can cheat the red a little bit more. Playing what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red pips. What if we play like different cards? Like we don't need this Frostcliff Siege. We don't need Narset's Rebuke. I like Glacial Dragon Hunt. I think I'd like to play it, and we don't need this Oversurge. That kind of puts us more into just like red cards that are a little bit stronger. The problem is that the only way our mana gets any better is if we play green or blue cards. Because if we play more black cards, our mana gets worse, not better. We could consider playing these like Gurmag Night Watches. Or white, black, green. We can play Reputable Merchant. Card's okay. I don't know how often you want to play it as a 4 mana spell though, which is I think kind of what it looks like here. Maybe play like Heritage Reclamation in the main board. It'll solve a lot of the like major enchantments, and at the worst, it exiles something from the graveyard and draws a card. Not so bad. Maybe we play these Agent of Codices and then go down a red source. Play these. 7 blue is not so bad. I do want to leave the Molten Exhale. I think I want to get rid of the Narset's Rebuke because it's one of the more expensive removal spells. And then our lands again. Has 7 red pips. And we're getting down to 3 sources. Not very many. I think we'd rather be able to cast our red cards than have 4 black sources. Okay, I'm convinced. Let's go down a swamp and up a mountain. That's not to say I don't maybe want to cut some number of these cards. I think Frostcliff Siege is really, really good with Dragonback Assault. And it seems decent otherwise, you know, like with our 2. We can make a lot of our things have counters and then try to get some like profitable attacks with our trample creatures to draw cards. I think I want to try Frostcliff Siege. That's something where like if I had a little bit more knowledge of the format, I maybe would look at it a little bit differently. But I kind of want to try it. I've never played the card before though. And so this looks pretty decent to me. Sorting it by mana value. This is 17 lands. Cheating our sources a little, but I think that's okay. And then we need to cut 1 card from here. I think it's got to be one of these Agent of Codices. It's just like the weakest card in our deck by a lot. It's kind of just a filler card. I'm gonna look and see if there's anything I would be more excited to play than an Agent of Codis. And I don't think there is. Sarkhan's Resolve might be okay to play. But maybe. Yeah, I think this is where I'm happy with. I'm gonna vote this as my deck for this pool.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Greg, and Nicole sent me the seal pool, so let's all build it together, shall we? I haven't taken a look at this before, so this is my first time seeing it. Some initial things that jump out at me: there are very few red cards, so it's going to be hard for red to be a base color. But I definitely think we could end up playing red as a splash, because I'm going to talk generally for a second. In general, I love playing fair 2-color sealed decks, maybe with a splash. This is not the set for that. If there's ever a set to be greedy with your mana, it's Tarkir Dragonstorm. So let's see what we've got. I'm going to start with a rarity sort. Okay, we have Call of the Spirit Dragon, which I would not suggest putting in your deck. Parination, which is fine, and a real banger in Dragonback Assault. I think this is one of the best cards in the format, honestly. I've played against it a couple times, actually, and whew, it is powerful. So I think I will probably do whatever I can to get this Dragonback Assault in my deck. Let's hope our fixing can support it. As for our rares, this Black Dragon is very good. Songcrafter Mage is perfectly fine. Good with our Dragonback Assault. We have these 2 Sieges, the Jeskai Temur Siege and the Green-Black Siege, both of which look like they're probably pretty good sealed cards. Narset I don't think is very good. The Sibsig Ceremony I don't think is very good. Zurgo is pretty nice, kind of awkward with the Dragonback Assault. Hard to imagine we'll play them both. Okay, got a good sense of the rares. Definitely Temur is somewhere I'm looking early. Maybe if it lines up, we could play this Siege also. I want to go back to colors. I also think in this set, a lot of the 3-color uncommons are kind of at rare level. So I want to do a quick look for those. The Bone Care Butcher, for example, very powerful card. Also in Mardu. Let's see, do we have any of those 3-color Lion Weight is a good card. And then we have this 3-color dragon, which I think is good. It's probably maybe the weakest in sealed of the cycle, but it's definitely a powerful card. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read this Call of the Spirit Dragon and make sure for each color. Okay, we're not going to do it. Okay, also it's important to look at your fixing, early on to look at fixing. Okay, we have a Frontier Bivouac. That's awesome, because we, again, want to play that Temur Mythic. And then we have 2 Thornwood Falls. Okay, this is awesome. And then we have 2 Mardu lands. Those could be nice if we end up playing the Zurgo. And a Tranquil Cove. Okay, so let's see here. Green looks pretty deep. Oh, we have a Dragon's Brood Relic. That, I think, is just a good sealed card. I'm going to kind of look at some green stuff, because I see a lot of, fine green cards. I would say a lot of these green cards are not exciting, but in fact, this entire pile of green cards, I think, is fine cards to fill out a sealed deck. The Dragon's Brood Relic is what I'm most excited about. The Piercing Exhale is good removal. I think Sarkhan's Resolve is just a good card in sealed. I think Sagu Pummeler is great stats. The rest of it, we could take it or leave it, but I think green would work as a base color. And my first instinct is to look at maybe green, blue. Okay, I want to look at white real fast because there are a ton of white cards. Based on our multicolor stuff and our lands, I'm a little skeptical we'll end up in white, but okay, these 2 cards are awesome. Oh, this card's quite good. We have the O-Ring. This card I think is only okay. This card's not that good. Oh, I had the Blade in my pre-release deck. It was actually awesome. It was, okay, it single-handedly won some games, and then I played it and never had time to equip it against aggressive decks and died with it in play, so it's a mixed bag, but man, I was in this total board stall, Abzan versus Abzan, and I drew the Blade, and it just, completely took over the game. So definitely a card you can play in sealed. Okay, yeah, white. Look, there are a lot of good white cards. I'm definitely going to consider it as a base color, but... And then black, worthy costs, I don't think will be that good in this deck. It's just kind of Bone Splinters, and we don't have much good sacrifice fodder. Black has a few good cards, I think. Oh, this Counters card is very good. Oh, and then, of course, the rare. Okay. We have that rare. That's good to remember. Okay, I really want to look at green-blue as a base. So, again, I think all the green cards are acceptable. So I'm just going to put them all in for now. Then in blue, we have the draw card. This 2/1 is not very good, but I think we might need it to fill out our curve. The Quench card, perfectly acceptable and sealed. Snowbelt Stag, I think, is fine, as is this 5-drop. I don't think I want to play Ringing Strike Mastery, but I could definitely imagine siding it in. Okay, so let's start here. This is 19 cards, so we're going to get to make some cuts if we do this. And then green-blue is an enemy color, so that makes sense as a base. And I want to look at splashing both black and red. So I don't know if I'm going to want to play this Siege, but I think I'm more excited about the black Siege. Notably, whenever you attack, put a counter on something, it gains Menace is a really powerful line of text, so I'm pretty interested in that. Green-blue card, I don't know about splashing this Host of the Hereafter. I'm going to consider it. Sadly, we can't play these really strong Mardu cards, but we get the Songcrafter Mage, the Dragonback Assault, which I'm really excited about, the Dragonclaw Strike, that's a really good card. We get to play Lie in Wait and this. I wonder if Nicole sent me this thinking I would build a fair 2-color deck of some sort. Well, if that's what she wanted, she's going to be disappointed. And then this Bloodfell Caves is very funny because it's both of our splash colors. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to do the lands later, actually. So this is 27 cards. Sort by mana value. We could play these Gurmag Night Watches. It's a 3-mana 3/3. It's not that good of a card. Okay, so what are we actually splashing for here? God, this deck looks awesome, honestly. I think this is pretty close to what I'd play. I don't think it's worth playing white, and I definitely want to play these cards. I think maybe the question is the black worth it? I think conceivably you could cut a bunch of black cards, but I want to be greedy. It's Tarkir. Let's do it. Because, yeah, I guess our fixing for black isn't great. Yeah. Because Bloodfell Caves is the only one of our lands that touches black. Also, some of my lands ended up here and some of them over there. Don't really know how that happened, but it's fine. There, I fixed it. Oh, okay. We could also play this dragon, but... Okay, what's bad? I'm worried that this 4-mana 2/4 is not very good. I guess it's really busted if you can, like, play this on 4 and then on turn 6, play Dragonback Assault. This thing lives... because it's a 2/4, and then you get to play your land drop, make a 4/4 flying. That's really strong. But notably, it makes mana... Oh, this dies to the Dragonback Assault, but I'm curious about the 2/5 in Limited. How are our 2-drops? Because really, I don't want to play both of these Agents of Codis if I can get away with it. But man, we have almost no 2-drop creatures. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, I think I just want to play... So, okay, I need to make 4 cuts from this deck. I think I'm going to cut the Stag. I might cut a black card. I might cut Lie in Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. There's more red I could splash. Because there's this kill spell, right? And Molten Exhale? Oh, yeah, wait. Let's get these cards in here. Okay. Let's play these red cards that we can splash. I think I'm going to... I might cut the Hollow Merc Siege. I'm going to cut Lie in Wait. God, okay, wait. I think we should cut black. Yeah, we only have the Bloodfell Caves as fixing. And, oh, the weird thing about that is if we don't have black in our deck, it's much hard. We can't really ever activate the Relic. And activating the Relic is really good. Okay, I want to play black, and I might just play this dragon. I guess the dragon's not very good if you're just playing it because it's really hard to play the Adventurer for Blue XX or Green XX. Okay, what do I want to cut? I think I can't cut. I think we're just gonna play this kind of bad 2-drop. We can renew it in the late game. I think it'll be fine. It's something to tap for the Dragon's Brood Relic. We're pretty light on creatures, so I'm not that eager to cut many creatures. I think I'm going to cut one of these 2/4s. I I think they're fine, and you can do the cool play I mentioned earlier, but they're far from exciting. We have this blue-green card that's nice. That's in both of our main colors. I like Snakeskin Veil in general, but we don't really have that many things that are super important to protect. Like, these 2/1s don't really matter. The Songcrafter Mage ETBs, the 4... Like, I think I might cut Snakeskin Veil. Actually, let's cut Heritage Reclamation. I think this card might be main deckable and sealed, but I'm going to leave it in the board, I think. I imagine we'll board it in against a lot of stuff. There are a ton of, like, disenchants. Disenchant felt really strong to me in the limited sealed I've played, no pun intended. But yeah, I think this is what I want to build. Okay, in the end, I was a little more conservative on colors than I could be. But, like, okay, when I say you should play a lot of colors, I want to be clear that you really want to play 2 colors as your base. This doesn't mean, like, jam in all the colors, jam in all the cards, right? Like, there are some black cards that are good that I'm not playing because it's a splash. And then I would end it here, but we should probably make our mana base, right? Okay, let's make this a pile so I can do this. Man, so we're splashing black for just the Scavenger Regent and the activated ability off Dragonblood Relic. I still think that might be right. I mean, honestly, this card is fine. Or discard a card. I don't think I'm going to play... Can I get away with playing no swamps? We have 2 black sources off the Relic and the Bloodfell Caves. Maybe that's too little. Maybe I should play 1 swamp. Okay, let's see. So we have 3 green sources already. Oh yeah, the other reason we can splash a little more is because we have 3 lands for our base colors. And, like, we don't have anything double pipped in our base colors. So, like, having our base colors is going to be really easy. Like, we probably just can play a swamp. So add basic lands. Oh wow, this is nice. Look at all this. It's funny that it says 3 black pips though. It's counting all 3 on Scavenger Regent, I think. But yeah, I definitely want at least, I think we'll definitely need 6 forests, and I definitely want, actually I guess that's 9 green sources. So if I play 5 islands, that's yeah, and then I can play 2 mountains and no swamps. Let's see. So that if we trust what it says, oh no. Okay, this is fine, except again, I'm going to put my expensive cards over here. So yeah, we are just playing 2 black sources for 1 black card. And wait, I guess it's really hard to use this relic. Okay, wait, we're going to make a late pivot. I'm going to cut the relic because our teamer mana is very good, and I'm going to cut the regent. We're going to be more conservative at the end of the day. Okay, yeah, because I cut the siege, I cut the thing. Okay, so now I just have, this is 16, so I should play 1 more land. We have 3 red sources for 1, 2, 3, 4 red cards. That's probably enough, but I think with 9, 8 in our base colors, I think we have plenty. Let's add another mountain, I think. And actually, I cheated towards green in our mana for some reason, but I think I shouldn't have done that. I think, yeah, I'm going to cheat towards blue. So I'm going to add an island, cut a forest, add a thing. So we have 9 blue sources, 8 green sources, and 4 red sources. And then I get to add 2 cards. So let's see. I wonder if... Do I want a Gurmag Nightwatch at 4 mana? I guess at 4 mana, I'd probably rather play this card. Oh, I'm going to play... Because I added a red source, I'm going to play this Narset Rebuke. We are a little light on kill spells. And I don't think Narset's Rebuke is that good, but I think it's perfectly serviceable. And then... Oh, wait. Wait. If I'm going to add a red card... I should probably add this siege, huh? Yeah, because I cut the siege because I wanted more black cards. Okay, this is a little all over the place. Thanks for sticking with me through this, but I think maybe this is where I'd end up. So now I added 2 red cards. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red cards off 1, 2, 3, 4 red sources. That's a little light, but all my red cards are like kill spells and things that I can cast late. I think it'll be okay. Wonder if yeah. Let's submit this. I think it might be a few cards off, but I don't want to spend too much time agonizing over the last card. I think my important lesson to take away from this build, because we're all here to learn, is by far Dragonback Assault is the best card in the pool. And I kind of looked at the pool and I was like, does this support playing a deck of 2 colors and splashing the third to play Dragonback Assault? And I quickly realized, sure does. And then I kind of wasn't interested in that much else. Like, there are some other good rares, but I think nothing comes as strong as the Dragonsback Assault, and we get to play the Songcrafter Mage and a lot of our good removal when we do this, and so I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really curious to see what other people will build, although I guess you will all get to see that. So, okay, there's another one, so I'm going to end this here.
Hello, I'm Nathaniel Perigo. I'm also known as the Adonis MTG Online, and Nicole has asked me to build this sealed pool. I am super intimidated by this one, and you'll notice why after I talk a little bit more about it, but there's a lot of cards missing from what I'm used to, and it's a doozy. So, whenever I first start to build a sealed pool, I'm always going to start to look at 3 things. I'm going to want to look at the fixing, I'm going to want to look at the removal, and I'm also going to want to look at the cards that really draw you to a color. And that's going to be, in my mind, mostly bombs, cards that just win the game on their own, and mid-game value creatures. So let's go ahead and swap this. The easiest way to do this in my experience is always pull out the rares, kind of dumb way to do it. Playing your most rares is just like often how that works. Rares aren't always the cards like this, but they often are. Call of the Spirit Dragons doesn't really do anything. Parination is playable in Abzan, but I'm not super drawn to it personally. And Dragonback Assault is exactly the pure definition of what I'm looking for from a bomb. It is defensive and offensive. Beautiful. Other cards like this that I'm going to be called cards drawing us to this color or color combination are going to be Narset. Songcrafter Mage is a great example of the mid-game value card. Zergo is an amazing end-of-the-game card. Hollowmark Siege is going to kill people pretty easily. Frostcliff Siege I am enamored with right now. This card both lets you break a board stall when you have one, and takes advantage when you don't have one by, like, if you're both hitting each other. So if there is board stall, now we have the advantage on that, and if we're both hitting each other, now we have the advantage on that. It's only bad when you're really far behind, and even then it sometimes can be good. Scavenger Regent is a board wipe that's also sometimes a 4/4 flyer instead. Love this card. Our fixing, we're going to move over to here, which is going to be these lands, obviously, which aren't as good as I want them to be. And then Mardu Devotee was also one, and the other one is Dragon Brood's Relic. This is our fixing here. Not what I'm used to seeing in fixing and sealed pools for this set. There's usually more than this, which is funny because this is a lot more than you're used to for other sets. But this set is chock full of fixing. You have the 2 color lands, you have the 3 color lands, you have devotees in every color. You have a lot of common or uncommon and rare mana rocks like Dragon Brood's Relic. But this one requires some extra hoops to go through for it to be worth it. And then you also have the 2 mana. I think they're all 2 mana. Yeah, the rocks, the ETB, you go look through your deck for a basic land, and put it in your hand of the types associated to the clan that they are. And you also have the Wildling. It's the Omen dragon in green. That's the green side is just Lay of the Land. There's so much good fixing in this set. This is pretty sparse compared to what I'm used to. So that's all I'm saying there. Great removal. Now we're moving into the uncommons. We're going to find some great removal. Great removal I'm going to put here. Bad removal that's still worth playing I'm going to put here. Sometimes worth playing, I should say. Fresh Start is a good example of bad removal that's sometimes worth playing. Move into black over here. I don't see any more cards that are really drawing me to a color. or any more removal. Here's bad removal. Okay. A great bad removal in my opinion. Glacial Dragon Hunt, being able to do it twice is nice. It's also like filtering for your cards. It's good. Host of the Hereafter. Here's a card that draws me to the colors. A lot of times for me, 4 mana 4/4s will draw me to a color if their ability is useful. Host of the Hereafter, sometimes its ability is very good. So based on your deck, and a lot of times in the black-green colors, you're going to be happy with that effect. Bone-Cared Butcher, another 4 mana 4/4 with a good ability when you're in Mardu. Defibrillating Current. I'm not sure whether it's good removal or bad removal. I'm going to put it in the bad removal slot. It has been lower than impressive for me, but the fact that it's able to be like 3 to 4 mana removal that also has another effect, that's good. Dragonclaw Strike has been good removal for me, because the extra effect on this is my creature now deals 1,000,000 damage. Hello, kitty cat. 1 second. I'm going to have to remove her. Okay. Next thing that comes up is this amazing removal spell, Stormplane Detainment. Also, Osseous Exhale. This card has been stronger than it looks. Usually this kind of traditional removal has been bad for me in the past, and I think most people can agree that that's usually how it works out. But this set, it has been extremely impressive. At 2 mana, and then also sometimes gaining life. It's just done its job every time. 5 damage is a lot of damage. Okay. Pack Beast is a mid-game value card, like I was talking about with Songcrafter Mage. So it is a card that draws me to this color. Bad removal, Ringing Strike Mastery. This one's really good in a very fast deck, but it's usually a bad card in a bad removal card in sealed, because games are just a bit slower. Nothing else really drawing me anywhere. Another bad removal spell. This one actually also sometimes becomes good whenever you have a lot of dragons. I think countering your spell unless they pay for it is quite good, but you have to have that. And when you don't, even when you do, certain decks don't want it anyways. But this is where I think I put it, in the bad removal spot. I'm not really drawn to... Oh, Sibzik Razor, another mid-game value card. I really like this one. Anybody who remembers Organ Hoarder, this kind of pretends to be that for a little while. So there's that. Worthy Cost, great removal, but it is super reliant on the type of deck you're playing. You have to make sure you're not sacrificing anything useful to it for it to be good, which I don't think actually surprises a whole lot of people if they read it. More here. Molten Exhale, just great removal. 2 mana, deal 4. Like I was saying, Osseous Exhale being 5 damage is really, really good. 4 is pretty close to the same in this format, but because 5 toughness is so hard to find in this format, but it does mean whenever your opponent does find that 5 toughness creature, you're going to be even more screwed than you were before, because 5 toughness creatures in this format, they go hard. And we have Narset's Rebuke, another 5 damage card. This one also, although it says it's 5 mana, it's often only 2 mana, but only in the late game. But that's fine. I like this card a lot. I think it has overperformed compared to what I expected when I saw it. I like Snakeskin Veil. I'm not sure it really draws me to the green color, but it does. I notice it every time I play a green deck, and I always want it if I'm in green. Being able to protect your bombs, and also like for 1 mana, tempo out their removal on even your mid-game creature. Beautiful, beautiful card. Piercing Exhale, I call good removal. This is pretty conditional, but this usually has been very good for me, this effect. I'm just going to put it here. I think it usually deals 3 to 4 damage whenever you need it to deal 3 to 4 damage. So, and then the Surveil 2 also is like the best of the bonuses out of all the exhales. So I like that a lot. What else we got? I've been, oh, by the way, relatively unimpressed by the 2-Brood cards overall. They're good glue in the decks that they're meant for. So when they're 3 mana, I think they're definitely playable. When they're more than that, you got to have a reason. You got to have a really good reason. Like Gurmag Nightwatch is quite good in the Sultai deck because when you play it, you're looking for good cards to go to your graveyard in Sultai because you're either bringing them back with Lion Weight or you're looking to find ways to abuse the counter synergy from this set. What's it called? Renew. Yeah. Speaking of Renew, Segu Pummeler is, in my opinion, a draw. Even though, like, it's like with these 4 mana 4/4s. It's a 4 mana 4/4 that has reach and a late game ability. I like this card a lot. Speaking of which, I missed Lion Weight whenever I went through my uncommons that I'm drawn to. This card is amazing. This card is a mid-game value card. It's removal and drawing a card. Instead of being a creature that draws a card, it's a removal that draws a card. This is just beautiful. But it does only work once you've put something in the graveyard, so it does ask something of you that's, like, not automatically going to happen, but usually happens. So... that's that card. Okay, any more green? Oh yeah, Sargon's Resolve. I do want to talk about this. A lot of late games become about controlling the air, and this card destroys any creature with flying. Obviously, Plummet is like usually okay, but not amazing, and in this set that goes up, and then it also has this giant growth effect as an option. This card is just good removal to me. I'm super impressed by it. Earthcarver, I go on the fence on whether I would call this a card that draws me to green, but it is controlling the air very well in the late game. I'm going to put it down here for now. So this is where we're at after everything's sorted. Bad or good removal, bad removal, fixing, and bombs or cards that draw me to a particular color. Seeing this, the place that I'm most obviously think there is overlap is Teamer between these two like pretty dang good Teamer cards. This amazing green blue or red blue card, and our fixing being very slanted towards Teamer between all these cards. The other option that our fixing dictates is Mardu, and that also seems to be the way that our rares and strong cards dictate. It's also where all our good removal is, because we have Static Snare, Stormplane Detainment, and Oshi's Exhale, along with Molten Exhale, Narset's Rebuke. I would totally be pretty happy moving into either of those, but I do think that there's a huge problem with this pool that isn't noticeable from what we've just done, but after I did a lot of work into it, and I'm not going to go through the 45 minutes it took me to freaking build this pool, I will show you a huge missing card, a part of this. There are no 2-drops. So whenever we go through all the 2-cost spells, we have Bearer of Glory as our only 2-drop white creature, which is a bad card. I don't want to play that. Agent of Kotus as our 2-drops in blue. I don't like this card very much either, but it's better. Its late game effect is better than Bearer of Glory because it feels more permanent. You only have to pay 4 mana one time instead of 5 mana every time you need to pump things. Does something. And it also happens without it surviving, whereas Bearer of Glory can just like isn't allowed to block essentially if you want to use its ability later, or you can just like trade this off in the early game or mid game and then turn it into an ability later, or even jump with it. Then we have Devoted Duelist, 2-1 haste. I never want to play this card unless I have to, or unless I'm extremely aggressive somehow. And no red there after that, no green 2-drops at all, no multicolored 2-drops at all. So we're severely lacking in 2-drops. Knowing that, there was one that like seemed playable, and the other ones didn't really to me. A huge problem with playing these kinds of decks, you're going to want to. I was trying to. A solution to the problem here is that you can play things that act like 2-drops. Something like Corroding Dragonstorm is a 2-cost permanent that also gains you life and helps you sift down into your 3-drops that can stall the game. So it kind of acts like a 2-drop. And then also removal that you're willing to play early is something that counts as a 2-drop. Oshi's Exhale kind of does that, but you're usually wanting to play this in the mid game, not the late game, not the early game. And then you have these blue bad removals that I think act like 2-drops. Ringing Stark Mastery is best in the early game. You just play it and get rid of your opponent's 2-drop. It feels like you played a 2-drop, essentially. But the problem with it is eventually they will get it back if you play a long game. Other things that act like 2-drops are going to be Fresh Start, bad removal in the early game, acts like a 2-drop. Great. Dispelling Exhale, you counter your opponent's 2 or 3-drop, feels like you played a 2-drop. Those are the good ones in my opinion. And noticing that made it seem like the Mardu option seemed worse to me because I also, again, didn't want to play Molten Exhale necessarily on 2 if I didn't have to, and I felt like the Mardu deck wanted to be extremely aggressive, but we didn't have the creatures to be aggressive. So I moved into Teamer after analyzing a whole bunch of other options. I looked into a lot of Abzan because I liked our general card strength in Abzan, but I didn't like that we didn't have 2-drops. And I also looked at like off-color sets like Jund and stuff like that, and none of them ended up working out either because I just didn't quite like where we were going to end up if we were a Teamer, but I think it is our best option, and here is what it looks like in my opinion after I built everything. I ended up playing Ringing Strike Mastery as my bad removal spell over the other ones. I feel like we can end the game somewhat early in this because of Champion of Doosan hitting up for a lot, and hoping to be able to win the game around turn 7 most of the time. Obviously, we can win a late game based on Dragonback Assault and Earthcarver, but I'm thinking this game is hopefully ending on turn 6 or 7. Our fixing is the best it can be. I'm playing this Monastery Messenger as a 4-cost spell most of the time. I splashed a Tranquil Cove to be able to maybe cast it for 3 sometimes. I'm not even sure I want to do that, but it's what I looked at doing. It feels fine. Since I'm not playing as many tap lands as I'm used to playing in this format, I think that's not the worst place to be. I don't really like it that much in this deck, but it can bring back one of our pretty good removal spells. We have a couple of good removal spells between Narset's Rebuke and Molten Exhale, Sarkhan's Resolve. We have some good ones. And then like Dragon Hunt is our best bad removal spell. Love that card. Dragonclaw Strike. I think our removal overall, very good in this deck. Didn't need to play white to get our amazing removal because this stuff is almost as good. as long as we're not playing a long game where opponent's creatures will be 7/7s. And even then, Dragonclaw Strike might do it. I like the Ice Ridge Serpent a lot. This card is almost always something you can look at playing in sealed effect. This effect is almost always something you can play in sealed. I like bounce stuff. I want to try Snowmelt Stag in this deck. I have looked at it. It looks like a bad attacker and an okay blocker, but with the counters you can get onto it from Renew, it looks a lot better. Sigma Appraiser made it into this deck. I'm playing the Devoted Duelist because I feel like I want to end the game somewhat early. Want to take advantage of this Frostcliff Siege, maybe triggering on attacks on turn 3 by having another creature in play already. But mostly I'm whelmed. This is not the best deck I've ever seen. I'm just hoping to get there with this one. So that's that.
Okay, hello. This is Jason recording my initial build of this sealed pool. This is the first sealed pool that Nicole sent me, and then I'll do the second one afterwards. So I generally like looking at rares. I haven't read literally every card in the set, so I might need to read some of these. Okay, Call the Spirit Dragon is interesting, depending on how many dragons we have. I see we have a Dragon Brood's Relic, which is important. I'm mostly just like looking for cards that I find strong. I'm gonna pull this out and put it off to the side, maybe. Not sure exactly how strong that is. Parination is like kind of strong, depending. Frostcliff Siege is another like dependent. I think we have a bunch of like potentially strong cards that like might be less strong in various contexts. Narset is also like okay. Zergo's okay. Let's see. If I had to like sort these, like Dragonback Assault seems like potentially one of our best cards. And then there's some like okay cards and some contextual cards here. Zergo's like okay, I would say. What is this? Potentially lots of card draw. Okay, this one's like strong, I think. It's like kind of contextual, like Frostcliff Siege, I think. Of course, like many of these cards I just have not played with yet. And then I would say like Lion Weight is like here. Looking at the gold cards first, because mostly the gold cards will be where you find a lot of the power in your sealed pools, I believe. That I'm gonna make a column for removal as well. So like Current, Strike, though obviously these are very flexible hybrid cards. Glacial Dragon Hunt, Rebuke, Exhale, what's our fixing look like? Not very much fixing, unfortunately. Like some amount of lands, but I don't see any like mana rocks or like I don't see any like 5-color fixing basically. Mostly you'd find that in green or with the Manalith. So that's unfortunate. Probably limits us to like 3 colors. Anyways, back to looking at removal. Worthy cost is kind of removal. You would need like some amount of stuff for it, presumably. Fresh Start, that's removal. Not really counting Strike Mastery. I do love the exhales generally. Some O-rings in white. Okay, so let's see. Any other like really strong cards? This I think is like a strong card in an aggressive deck. I mean, I'm gonna. Oh, wrong card. I meant to pull out. Wait, I swear there was a. Where did the white one drop go? I swear we had a copy of the white one drop that's a 2/1. Maybe I just hallucinated it. Okay, I guess we don't have a copy of the white 2/1 that when it attacks you can pay 2 to endure 1. Anyways, cards on the level of appraiser. I think negotiations should just go under removal, honestly. Like, I think the Thoughtseize effect is strong in this set and sealed. This card is fairly strong. This card is fairly strong. These are like strong black cards. Rejuvenator can be strong depending on exactly what we're doing with it. Same with this. So here's some like conditional things. I think I'll put the Rejuvenators here because like the ramp is theoretically strong. And the mill as well. But other than that, that's like about it for, I guess there's this card. I don't love being aggressive is the thing, but we might end up being there. Okay, so looking at this, I think that Dragonback Assault is our best card. Scavenger Regions is also pretty strong, I guess. But we could try to be... So, I don't really want to be white, is what I'm thinking looking at this. You have some okay, like, white filler. But that's not really where I want to be exactly. I think that given that, can we make these worthy costs work? I'm a little dubious. I think like these worthy costs might just not like be playable in this deck, no matter how we build it. Like Nightblade Brigade, Kintree Nurturer, both only kind of work. So yeah. Okay, so if we're not playing these worthy costs, then I kind of am drawn more into like the teamer space. And we just like don't play black. And we're just playing teamer leveraging Assault, Songcrafter Mage. I don't love that we have very little card draw, but we can try to make that work. Okay, given that, okay, so I'm gonna look at teamer first. I might also look at several builds. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to swap back, clear everything, and build with teamer in mind. Wow, this is a huge pile of multicolor cards. Anyways, with teamer in mind, let's just pull out like every card that we might play in teamer. I don't think I'd play 5 mana deal 4. We can pull this off to the side as a card that like is not uninteresting. Oh, we even have a teamer land. Nice. Dragonclaw Strike, of course, and our busted rares. I think this card is reasonable because we also have ways to mill ourselves, namely Rejuvenator. So like we can put back Dragonback Assault or something like that. And then we can think about splashing Lion Weight for that. Then we can play a bunch of these like just strong green cards. Obviously the Relic. And then we need to figure out whether we're base blue or base red in addition to green. We could also like we could try to play more black cards. I'm just worried about the mana because like the mana right now is okay if we're playing teamer, with like a solid base and like just some splashes with 3 lands, but going above that is a pretty tough ask in this pool, I think. My instinct here is that we are okay. So like the idea with this Frostcliff Siege is that we're going to use it on the Curiosity mode, I think. With like these Champion of Dusons. Okay, so we definitely want to play this Molten Exhale. I think I want to be base blue over red. There just like aren't that many appealing red cards. Oh, I guess Surge. I thought that this was the Reckless Impulse at first, but no, Surge is quite strong, I think, because I think it's not very hard to 2-for-1 with it. Given that, I still want to go with main blue. It just makes more sense to me to like splash the red removal. And we can play an Unending Whisper for Rejuvenator reasons. Stag helps flash things back. We like don't have any dragons, right? Do we just like not have very many dragons in our pool that aren't like these two? I guess not. This is like a little sad of a pool, I think. Maybe I've just been getting. I guess we have these Boulderborn dragons. Maybe I've just been getting strong, like abnormally strong pools, but I don't know. This pool feels a little weak. So this could be a default. I don't really want to play Exhale with like no dragon. The blue Exhale with no dragons. If we look at like creatures, I'm a little worried that this is like too reliant on Dragonback Assault to win the game ever. I'm not sure. This puts a counter and a trample counter. Okay. We could also play Agent of Codis. The idea of like putting it into the graveyard with Rejuvenator. Okay, I don't love this, but I'm gonna like save this and come back to it. Now I want to look at black green. Like the benefit of Teamer is that we get to play our strongest card, but the benefit of playing like green black is that I think black has a lot of compelling cards in it, at least. I didn't see that we had a second mobilized card. Maybe we could play Worthy Cost. I still don't think the cost is worth it though, so to speak. But yeah. So we have a couple +1/+1 counter synergy things. We definitely want Snakeskin Veil. And we definitely want these. I guess this might just make more sense as a deck just because we have like it has the most synergy in terms of like having +1/+1 counter synergies. I am a little worried about this literally 0/2 drops thing though. But maybe it's fine. Also, if we play black green, our Sultai Splash is like a little free, not like completely free, but it is a little free. So I think like playing Lion Wait and Gold Keeper is pretty reasonable. We can also play Night Watches if we really wanted, but I'm not particularly excited about them. Relic. I guess Relic wasn't that good in the previous deck either, but I don't think you can really play Relic in 3-color. I think you want to be 4-color. Corroding Dragonstorm is an interesting one. I kind of would want to try it here. but not entirely sure. Yeah, the main problem with this is that there just aren't any 2-drops. Are there like any 2-drops in this pool? We have these 2 blue ones. Yeah, there just really aren't any 2-drops. Well, good reason to not play aggro, I guess, but not amazing for us. We can play a main deck naturalize. This relic also is much worse now that I think of it in a deck with no 2-drops. So yeah. I think this is fine. I'm not super happy with this deck, I will say. Because again, the problem of having no 2-drops, I think I would default to playing the teamer build here. I guess like without this relic and like playing, maybe we can play an Agent of Codis or something. Yeah, I would default to playing this teamer deck because, and like, this maybe should be playing Snakeskin Veil. I'm not sure. Like I want to play something like this, maybe not exactly like this, just because I think you can just win games off of having like a couple of nice threats and more like a bunch of nice removal that red gives you, compared to like the green black list like doesn't really have very much good removal, and you have a scavenger regent, I guess, but like teamer gets access to Dragonback Assault. Except this will just win games sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I think this pool is a little awkward in various ways, but this is, I think, the best that I can find here. Yeah.
Okay, this is my build. So I had a hard time with this pool. The 2 biggest weaknesses are it's a pool with a lot of multicolored bombs and not quite enough fixing to match that. We have 6 dual/tri lands, but that's not enough to go 5 color really. So I've gone 5 color. I am playing Dragonback Assault and Perenation. I have 3 sources for each of the splash colors if you include this Dragon Breeze relic, which is also a kind of sketchy card, but I'm pretty light on 2-drops, but there's also just no 2-drops in the pool, to be honest. Like, you look at all of the 2-drop slots, it's all non-creatures. So there's one creature in red, 1 creature in white, and then white has 1/1-drop. It's just not... You're not going to be getting on the board early. The Agents of Kotis are the best we could really do there. Sultai has a lot of very solid cards. Kerry Goldkeeper, I think, is fantastic. These 2 cards, I suspect Dragonback Assault is a full-on bomb. Perenation's probably a step behind, but I wanted to try it, so I figured... And the cost of splashing it isn't actually that high, because we have both of these. These cards are fixed for its colours. So, yeah, and then... aside from that, it's mostly a pretty standard build. I also looked at, during deck construction, I looked quite heavily at Teamer to see if there was a much more straightforward, like blue-green splashing red just for the Dragonback Assault. And what I found was I was leaving a lot of power on the table, and my mana base wasn't actually much better than this. So this is 8/8 for the 2 main colors, which is not ideal. I don't like this. I would much rather have 9 for at least one of the colors. But it's on the edge of what I would, I guess, accept. I could go 1 less in black, but I'm sort of hoping I can play these Gurmag Night Watches on turn 3 quite a lot of the time, and they will help fix my almost fix my mana, but at least smooth out my draws. Yeah, I don't know. This seems okay. And in terms of any aggressive deck in this pool, any of the Mardu card, things like Zergo, you're not doing that in this pool with no 2-drops. So it is down to grindy stuff. So I would say in general you want to err on the side of being more greedy, but again I would be infinitely happier with this pool if I had a bit more fixing, so that this was like a solid deck that could play these bombs instead of a shaky deck that plays these bombs.
I hope everybody enjoyed watching my friends build seal pools. If you want to support me or any of the people in this video, you can go down in the description and see plenty of links of different places that people make content where you can support them, things of said nature. If you want to support me, the easiest way to do that is by subscribing to my channel, sharing my videos, commenting, liking, all the good things for the algorithm. I do also have a Patreon if that is something you're possibly interested in. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow for the next seal pool.